there's something that we go back to our conversation from the beginning of this session today. State governors. The legal framework around power generation has permitted state governors to be able to generate their own power. So we have overemphasized the industrial potential of Kogi State, for example. They have limestone, they have so many things, and they have River Niger. So if I were a governor of Kogi State, I should be having my own hydro plant to be able to generate power for the industries, or to attract industry to say we have power, we have limestone, we have the raw material, we have the power, and we are in the middle belt. So you have access to all the markets in Nigeria. Those are what we need to be looking at. So to go back to this solar, individuals might not be able to get solar, but up north, where it's really hot, in Sokoto, in Maiduguri, governors should start, or local government chairmen to start having solar farms for small communities.
This is Souq business landscape. Now, solar power has become cheaper than electricity from Nigeria's national grid for the first time, signaling a turning point in efforts to deliver reliable energy to about 200 million citizens. The shift comes as chronic outages, weak transmission, and tariff pressures continue to undermine confidence in the power system. Data from Financial Derivative Company Limited show grid electricity prices have climbed to between $220 and $270, or $14 to $0.14 to $0.17 per kilowatt hour. The levels are more than double previous rates, driven by tariff adjustments, foreign exchange pressures, and rising generation and distribution costs. Okay, let's still go back to this. A lot of people are looking at alternative solar. People keep mentioning solar, but to the average person, we don't have that. We don't have, most communities, most states, if not nearly all, don't have a solar grid. So there's no prepaid on solar. So whoever is installing solar, apart from a few communities, are installing full systems either in their houses or in their offices. Can the common person, like from that minimum wage, still afford this solar installation?
A common person cannot afford solar. However, there's something that we go back to our conversation from the beginning of this session today. State governors. The legal framework around power generation has permitted state governors to be able to generate their own power. So we have overemphasized the industrial potential of Kogi State, for example. They have limestone, they have so many things, and they have River Niger. So if I were a governor of Kogi State, I should be having my own hydro plant to be able to generate power for the industries, or to attract industry to say we have power, we have limestone, we have the raw material, we have the power, and we are in the middle belt. So you have access to all the markets in Nigeria. Those are what we need to be looking at. So to go back to this solar, individuals might not be able to get solar, but up north, where it's really hot, in Sokoto, in Maiduguri, governors should start, or local government chairmen to start having solar farms for small communities. Some communities, they don't even have pressing iron. They don't have AC that takes a lot of power. All they need light for is to be able to listen to their radio, watch TV, and light for security, and to sleep
just
at
have
night.
light. Some people just need light.
To just read, just bulb. So you find out that in some villages in Nigeria, average consumption of each home is so small that a solar farm can power them, and they don't need to pay for light for another 2 years when they need to change some panels or change some batteries. So these are the things that might not be popular, but government needs to start doing for their people. And it's not that expensive. It's not crazy. An average local government in Nigeria earns 500, 600 million naira every month. What are you doing with this money? And you are paying your primary school teachers 50,000, 40,000 per month. So your entire wage bill for the month is like 50 million. So what are you doing with the rest 450 million? You can start constructing small solar farm for these small villages. Some of these villages is just maybe 700 people, 1,000 people. There's no AC, even in the King's Palace. So they just need bulbs for their children to read at night and to watch TV, to listen to radio. That's all they need the power for, and for speakers in their mosques and churches. So these are projects, and the legal framework has been broken down. So nobody has excuses. So people can start having impact from local government level to state governors. State governors can now start investing in mini grids, in power generation. And we've seen it before. In 1999, between 1999 and 2007, the president Tinubu, when he was governor, he did it in Lagos. The former Senate president, Bukola Saraki, in Kwara State, he did it. He built mini grids, but they need to feed to the national grid at the time. But now is the time where people, it can really have effect, because when you build a mini grid, you invest in power, your people will benefit from it directly. And everybody will be able to say, oh, in your time, you have power for us. For example, Alex Soti in Abia State, he saw to the fruition the geometric power project in Aba. Until tomorrow, nobody will, the people benefiting don't want to listen that this is a project that is private or started under President Jonathan's administration. The governor that commissioned it is getting all the credit. And if for anything, I'm sure the people of Aba will give him, if not 100% vote for that power project that is not even his. And like I said earlier, you don't need to fund this project. Sometimes you just need to make it easy for private sector to come. Let them see the potential and make the process seamless. Don't let your commissioners use bribery and bureaucracy to discourage private investors.
Bribery and bureaucracy to discourage private investors. Okay, now let's look at this solar installation, because it's really, really growing in Nigeria. We have significantly very small input when it comes to production of these materials in Nigeria. Which takes us back to the same market issue. China is still dominating. So as much as we are installing and increasing in that particular place, we're still sending our monies to China. How can we turn that tide?
That's we've always had a manufacturing issue because of also trust. Even if we try to make it here, you see people, the buyers or end users would still do their inquiries and ask, made in Nigeria, I don't want, because we still don't trust the quality of things that we produce as a nation. So the last time we had that discussion around manufacturing and all of that, I think it's a push in terms of, it's not just to block the borders. I think the government also needs to invest time, invest resources, invest awareness into manufacturing or production in Nigeria. That would also encourage people. And of course, these are materials that need power for them to be produced. So once, I know a lot of people like these businesses, but the reason why people have their own manufacturing system in China, because over there they embrace this industry.
And government is building infrastructure.
Exactly.
It's more like plug and play in China.
Exactly.
It's plug and play. So we can continue to talk about manufacturing in Nigeria forever, but two things that we need power, and we need steel manufacturing itself. Think of most of the things of what we want to produce. The solar panel, for example, there is a steel component that is so much.
Yes.
So if we are not producing steel, it means we are still going to import the bulk of the steel. So the value that you are going to be adding is so small. But for example, there is a lithium plant in Nasarawa worth $200 million. That is a step in the right direction for renewable energy. But are we just going to be supplying lithium batteries if we don't have other people
Components
that will
to put it
But that is
together?
a step in the right direction. A manufacturer or an investor can say, okay, I can take advantage of this. They have lithium, they are processing it already, so I can set up a factory that can add another value to produce something else. Is a step in the right direction. But manufacturing generally, we want to manufacture our own car. Where is the steel manufacturing company that is going to supply the steel and metal to produce the car, to produce everything that we need? We are using, now in Nigeria, for example, all the nails that we use in our constructions are produced locally. Most of the roofing sheets are produced locally from scrap metals. So these factories, they buy scrap metals and they process it into roofing sheets, into nails that we use in construction. But beyond that, we need to start producing our own steel from scratch, because we have iron ore.
We have the resources, and energy decentralization has actually gone from, it's like it's no longer, ideological. We're talking about economical influences. Yeah. So, like Amin said,
Economical and political, geopolitical influence.
I mean, it's something that we have all of these resources. It's just for the openness and the support from the government. Say, you know what, this industry can be tapped. Investors come invest, and then we have this harmonization to start producing these things. Because at the end of the day, people are no longer just buying solar because they can afford it. Now, the market itself for solar energy and solar materials, they're not even going as far as instrumental payments. Why?
Okay.
Because people need these things. Some people just need in their shops. Barbers or salons, really, barbers here, they don't use power anymore, like per se, to cut your hair. They have their rechargeable clippers. So all they need is the light to come on and the fan to blow you as a customer, or to get you all cool and calm. That's all they need. So we now have fans. We have electrical materials like fans and the rest.
We have fans from China. We have clippers from China.
Exactly. So we have these things that can be charged with solar.
From the UK.
So we can start producing our own batteries and now start telling China, but when you're selling anything, don't sell batteries.
Take this. We have this.
We have batteries.
So in bits like that, you start to reduce the cost of importation of, for example, I like the angle you brought it from. If you're going to get a full package of a solar coming in, let's say it costs you about 600, 700,000 naira. When you convert to naira, now you have removed the cost of how much of the battery. Maybe battery takes about 300,000 out of it. That's something,
and that's direct job for your people locally.
Exactly.
What about the inverters? What about the solar panels? We have a solar panel plant here in Nigeria, but to what extent? Just like you said, the materials themselves, but they still have to import the materials and just assemble.
And so you look at the cost of you bringing in, then you look at skill. For example, this Trump's drive for bringing back American companies back to producing in America. They are saying beyond, everybody is looking at the cost of the labor that in America is one of the most expensive place to get labor. But the manufacturers are saying we don't even have a problem with that. We can ship the cost to the people. The problem that we have is that people don't even have the technical know-how.
China has taken over.
In terms of technical know-how. So while we are still discussing about child labor, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, they are already working, they are bringing out products, they are making, most of the cell phones are produced by children. The toys are produced and assembled by kids. While we are still talking about child labor in a country where the poverty ratio is to the roof.
I think that's why this what's the name? This is it OT that said it's trying to implement this skilled syllabus into the educational system. Enugu State, yeah.
Is even a federal policy. So it's just for states to adopt it. But this is a federal government policy.
Because it's very important. If we keep relying on these things being shipped out of China down to Nigeria, from the UK down to Nigeria, it's a big problem. When you look at how much it costs at the end of the day, solar should not be a big deal. Yes, it's an alternative because the major power supply industry has actually failed us, but it's still an industry that can serve the purpose of powering light. Like I said, most people don't need the light really for very heavy production or heavy day life system. It's just to power the lights, charge your phones. Everyone does. Most people do remote jobs now. Just you need your laptop to be on. You need your environment to be cool and all of that. So it's just, solar is not to come and, of course, replace the grid, but it's just to come and serve as a substitute to decentralize, that energy industry and say, oh, we're not focusing on you, we're not relying on you, just like we're trying to do with, oil as a country.